Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Cha Cha Mystique, and you now tuned into Live at Radio. Today, we got an exclusive interview with the Lady of Rage in the building. She got up and coming movies. We all know that she is a legend, especially on the West Coast. But we're going to talk about history as well as this new movie on Lifetime with the rise and fall of Miss Cleo. So we're going to get into it. Go get your smokes, go get your drinks, go get your snacks. And we be right back with it though.
And I hear them say, and I hear them say, and I hear them say, I hear them say, and I hear them say.
Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So strikers, no strike me.
Yes, strikers don't strike me with your hating asses. And without any further ado, the one and only Miss Lady of Rage in the building.
What's up, one?
Yes, what's up, on? Yes, and I'm glad you started off with that accent because that's like the number one question when we're talking about Miss Cleo. Was she Jamaican? Was she not Jamaican? Where did she get her accent from? You know, but before we really get into the speak about it, I kind of want to show everybody the trailer of the up and coming Lifetime movie. Okay, so hold up. Here we go. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't go blindly through life. Let me use the power of the tarot to show you the way. Call me now for your free reading.
Based on a true story.
Let's make some money.
This is Cleo.
You're our highest earner ever.
The sky is the limit.
No one could foresee.
Keep him on the phone. You got this. Tell me about your dreams.
24 million a month.
You're mocking our Jamaican heritage.
You've been served.
You do not need a crystal ball to know that the FTC will stop deceptive trade practices.
She's ripping off millions of people.
I'm paying my bills and taking care of my kids. I'm not hurting anyone.
Let us talk to the lawyers. These things blow over.
People put their trust in you, Miss Harris. Are you even a psychic?
Our name's in the lawsuit.
But it's my face.
Miss Cleo, her rise and fall. Premiere Saturday, August 10th at 8.
Yes, so that's definitely a factor. So how did you even get or come across this role?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was working with Hillionaire Productions on a project they were doing called A Christmas Prayer. And the producer, Jamie McCoy, she approached me on set and she told me what I didn't know was that the role I was playing currently was an audition for the Miss Cleo role. And she presented it to me. First of all, I was shocked. Like, I'm listening to her and she's like, we have the rights and this and that, and we want to do her story and we want you to play her. And I was just thinking, you want me to be the lead? You want me to be the star? You want, that right there was shocking to me, because oftentimes when people haven't been in the limelight or they are perceived as not doing anything, people kind of brush them to the side or disregard them. And for her to have faith and know that I could deliver was just a shock to me. So it was presented to me. That's how I got it.
Yes, it was a role made for you. And shout out to Hillionaire production. Shout out
Yeah.
to Jamie McCoy. She's very dope, does all the Christmas movies and a lot of the independent Black films you do see on BET, Lifetime, TV1, especially the Christmas stuff. So I definitely want to send a shout out to her. So when you was given the script, how did you prepare for this role? Because I know you had to, I mean, you don't normally speak in a patois language. So how did you prepare to do it?
So basically, I just watched her old footage, her old infomercials, old, like I said, stock footage of Miss Cleo's um, shows she was on, like Jenny Jones and whatever she was on, whatever I could find, I just watched it. And a lot of times people say she already had a bad accent. So that worked for me because working on a bad accent, I shouldn't mess that up because it's already a bad accent. So that worked in my favor.
Yes. So, like, did you ever had to like stumble where maybe you was using your original accent when you was going through your lines during filming?
I did that. The director pointed it out to me a couple of times where I didn't um I didn't pour it on enough. Like he could hear the natural accent and I was falling back into that. So he did a couple of times point that out. So I did have to turn it up a notch.
Yes. I feel like you was really made for this role. And one of the things, like just studying this whole situation was y'all had a lot of things in common with each other throughout your lives.
How
Like,
you know?
because I did my due diligence. At least I hope I did. I really know. But one of the things that I found intriguing that you both had in common was Langston Hughes. You know, I read a older article when it was talking about like one of your first times of feeling like a celebrity or actually getting your flowers was due to a high school talent show where you did a dramatic performance on Langston Hughes. And then when you look at Miss Cleo, she actually taught performance at a Langston Hughes art school. So can you tell us, did you notice that? And if you did, how did you feel about it?
I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice that. Good work. Good job right there. And I just recently in February, I did that reenactment again. This was in high school at a talent show. And my second time was February at my church, New Flame Church of God in Christ, where I dressed up. I did the whole nine, and I was able to reenact it one more time. So if people want to see that footage, go to Facebook. I'm sure it's on Facebook. New Flame Church of God in Christ. I believe the date might have been February 12th or February 20th, and you'll see me actually performing it.
Dag, I'm mad I missed that clip, but I did pull up the poem, and it's actually a beautiful poem. Do you know it offhand?
Let me see. Children, I come back today to tell you a story of the long, dark way that I had to climb, that I had to know in order that the race might live and grow. Look at my face, dark as the night, yet shining like the sun with love's true light. I am the child they stole from the sand 300 years. Oh, you got it in front of me. Well, I can read that, but I was trying to hold my head up. So yeah, but I basically know it. But I didn't see the words right there.
I was about to say, you could keep going, because I think this is like so profound when I read it. And I'm a Langston Hughes fan. Don't get it twisted. I don't know every poem, but I'm glad this was a great introduction to this poem. And it's so strong and prolific. You know, I really feel like all Black mothers should read this poem because it's actually inspiring and it's a reminder of what us Black women have to endure, and especially in American society, you know. So what made you pick this poem to recite? And what were some of the things that you did to make it a dramatized production?
Well, I believe, so my sister cousin, Dolores, she asked me one day, she said, what are you first, Black or female? And I said, Black. And she said, good answer. And I made 12 or 13. And then she bought me this game board, or it could have been some type of trivia type thing. And it was all about Black successes, like the doctors and the inventors and Black people being the first to do stuff. I learned about Dr. Daniel Hell Williams, who was in there. He was the first Black man to perform open heart surgery. I learned about just other people. So she kind of introduced me to being aware of who I am in America. And that kind of turned a light on in me. And then I remember watching Eyes on the Prize. And this particular segment, they were talking about the Black Panther Party, in particular, Chairman Fred Hampton. And that intrigued me so much. Like, his whole demeanor was like, you know, fight and we're going to struggle and we're going to win. Dare to struggle, dare to win. And just his unapologetic, he was fearless. And the whole Black Panther Party and what they were doing, it was a fearlessness. And growing up in, you know, going to public school, you didn't learn that. You learned your heroes were Martin Luther King, Hank Aaron, Rosa Parks, you know, the safe ones. We're not learning about Huey P. Newton. We're not learning about Fannie Lou Hamer. We're not learning about Malcolm X. We're learning about the safe ones. So that kind of, like I said, turned the light on for me. And this particular poem, I had to choose. I didn't have to choose, but I chose between The Negro Mother and A Crystal Stare. Crystal Stare was...
Oh, A Crystal Stare. Yeah. Now, I know that one.
Yeah. A Crystal Stare was okay, but A Negro Mother, it just did something to me, especially when it said, I am the child they stole from the sands 300 years ago in Africa's land. I am the dark girl who crossed the wide sea, carrying in my body the seed of the free. I am the woman who worked in the field, bringing in the cotton and the corn to yield. You know, I am that one who made this journey over here, didn't make a journey that was kidnapped and brought over here. So that kind of touched me. That was more my speed right there. Like, okay, yeah, people don't know about this. I'm about to tell them about it. And then I almost didn't do it because when I was rehearsing, when I said, look at my face, dark as the night, some of the kids started laughing. And I just started walking off the stage. I said, I'm not going to do it. Because, you know, as a teenager, as a child, somebody laugh at you, you become fearful or kind of scared, like, oh, shoot, I'm going to be embarrassed. But my teacher, when I got to the bottom of the stairs, can you hear me?
Okay. No, yeah, I was looking at the comments. Somebody left you a comment, but go ahead, don't stop.
Okay. My teacher, Miss Yarborough, when I got to the bottom of the stairs, I'm like, I'm not going to do it. And she said, yes, you are. Now get back up there. And I just turned around, and that night, I did it. I did it with more emphasis at church, I think, because I knew it more. But at any rate, I won first prize. And I was just so happy. I thought I didn't place at all because I was up against some of the best singers in the school and everything. And when they called the third place winner, it wasn't me. And then the second place winner, it wasn't me. So I got up and I started walking out of the auditorium. And by the time I got to the door, they was like, first place winner. And they was like, y'all want to know who the first place winner is? And then I kind of looked back and he was still playing around. And I just turned around and I was about to walk out the door. And they said, Robin Allen for the Negro Mother. Oh, man. I ran down that aisle and jumped up on that podium so fast. I was just so proud. And nobody was really there to see it because in school and at home, I was kind of I would get in trouble and do stuff that was not positive, but this was a positive in my life and nobody really got to see it, like from my family. So it was bittersweet, but it's a memory that I'll always hold dear.
Yes. And I'm glad you had that moment. You know, I almost felt it when I was doing my research. Now, the negative side to it all is her experience with the Langston Hughes dance company or production company. It didn't end too well with her. What are your thoughts about that? Because people felt like she was a so-called scam since then. You know, people were complaining about actors, you know, not getting paid for her production, even though the production, nobody complains about the quality of the production or the fact that she can produce something on set, but people didn't get the, I guess, accolades or the monetary value for their participation. So how do you feel about that?
Now, according to the script, she didn't pay the actors, the players in her troupe. Now, supposedly she received a grant, or she received some type of payment, and she was supposed to disperse that amongst the players, and she didn't. She also, according to the script, she said that she had bone cancer. So it was like she's getting sympathy, she's getting money, and hoping that she can just get by and get out of there, like get to take the money and run and go and do whatever it is she's going to do. I think she felt regret about doing that. The way I read it, it was like she has a choice to make, and she's trying to start a new path in life with her children, and she's trying to survive and hoping that maybe one day she can ask for forgiveness for them. But for right now, I got to do what I got to do, and I'm sorry, but I'm gone. And maybe I can pay y'all some other time. According to the script, I don't know if she ever paid them or if they ever received payment or not. But yeah, that was in the beginning of the movie. It touches on that.
Now, another thing that you do have in common is poetry, especially towards the end of Miss Cleo's life. They were showcasing the fact that she was stepping into that artistry more often than before and starting to become known for that as well. Now, you spoke about like the Black Panther Party, which I got. Like, even when I rock rough and stuff with my Afro puff, you see the Black Panthers aesthetic, the Afro puffs, the all black leather, like, and then the full circle moment, you being inspired by Fred Hampton. Yes. Now you do podcasting with Fred Hampton Jr.
Yes.
Yeah. And not only that, you also, it stood with you, even with the Chubb Rock generation, where you heard the song with him and MC Search. So talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Was it popular for young rappers, young female artists, especially up and coming, to talk about politics as heavy as you did on that track? And can you tell everybody what the name of the track was?
That song was called Bring 'Em Home Safe with Chubb Rock. And it was basically talking about, I believe it was the Gulf War. It was one of those wars that was going on. And I think it was the Gulf War. And that was a time when I was working and living at Chung King Studios in New York. And he overheard me rapping one night, and he just, from that point on, he took interest in me, and he was taking me under his wing. But by the time he was able to really work with me totally, I was already gone to the West Coast. So, but that song, yeah, Search, and so many people were on there. I think it's about 8 people on there. And I was just grateful to be a part of it. Like the Afro Puffs, I was trying to find something that set me apart from everyone else, because the girls back then were wearing braids, or they had perms, or everybody was wearing the same style. And I was just looking through a photo album one night, and I found a picture of my cousin, Hope, and she had Afro Puffs. And I was like, nobody really wants to wear their Afro Puffs, their hair, their natural state. And I said, I can do that. Power to the people, I can do that. And so I did it, and it just became something that just set me apart. Just my hairstyle alone set me apart from everybody. And my style set me apart from everybody. So I had different mechanisms that set me apart. And that's what I wanted to be. I didn't want to be compared to anyone. You can compare somebody to me, but don't compare me to anyone.
Yes, that's the whole fact. But I got a bone to pick with you, because I'm glad we're talking about the Afro Puffs, because it wasn't too long ago you went on live and were saying that you might be giving up the Afro Puffs. Now, with everything you just said about standing out, and yes, after all these years, it is your signature look. When you think of Afro puffs, especially in the culture of hip hop, the only person you think of is Lady of Rage. So it did work out as far as like making you stand out. But why the change of heart after all these years?
Not that I didn't want to wear my natural hair. I just wanted to try something different. I just wanted to do something different. Something different. That's all. I'm not saying that I won't go back to it, but I just wanted to try something different. We as women, as this was coming on, I saw all the hairstyles you had. So you get to change up and do your thing. I want to change up sometimes and do my thing. Like yesterday, my hairstylist and makeup artist, he tried something different, and oh boy, it was like pulling teeth. I was not ready for it, but I got so many compliments for the look that I had on yesterday on my press run. So I was just like, yeah, I don't know about this look, but okay, I did it. I got compliments on it. And today now I have this look. So whatever look I do that I really feel comfortable with, it's probably going to be a natural hairstyle. But yesterday, yesterday was a whole new world for me. So you probably can check it out.
I saw you too. You was out there getting your grind on, and I love to see that. Yes, you was busy, and people don't, get to see that side. People see the lights in the camera, but they don't really know it takes hustle. Like you got to make sure you go from one and get to the next.
Yes.
And you got to constantly be moving, and you got to be on time. So it's a big responsibility behind, the career of hip hop. But what do you use? Because I'm an Afro puff wearing chick, and I want to shout out to you because this interview means so much to me. You was one of my great influences. Everybody who knows me knows I've always rocked. Maybe not the two Afro puff, but that big center. I just cut my hair in March for my spiritual journey. So that's why the synchronicities of all of this, of us conversing with each other, is still blowing my mind, even with this second. But anyway, before I cut my hair, I'm a natural hair rocker. I rock the Afro puffs or the bun or whatever the case may be. So what's some of the hair tips for us natural girls to go with to keep our puff in check and looking nice and crispy?
See, for me, I wash my hair and I use whatever product. It's not, lately I've been using Native. Before that, I was using Suave. Then I might use, sometimes I just might use Ivory soap. Whatever is going to lather up and clean my hair. Then, as it's wet, I will do a 3-strand twist. But first, I'll grease it. And that's either with Blue Magic or Dax. And sometimes I might use Vaseline. It's going to be a heavy type of something because it's wet. So then I let it stay twisted for like 3 days. Say I have a show on Friday. I wash my hair on Saturday. I take it down on Tuesday. And then I start taking it apart. And then each day I pick it a little more and it'll get bigger. By the time Friday comes, it's where I want it to be. But if I have wash my hair today, I have a show tomorrow, my puff is not going to be where I want it to be. So it's a process for me. That's how my hair is. It's finer. So I have to take it through a process to make it fluff up and get big. So that's
me too. We got the same problem, especially and shout out to Blue Magic. Like that's been the staple grease for every Black household from generation to generations. And you kind of, for some reason, I pegged you as a pink lotion girl. Remember pink lotion from back in the day?
I do. I rarely ever use that. I might have used it on my daughter's hair a couple times, but never mind.
Oh, well, I don't know, for some reason I smell pink lotion every time I looked at your picture back. I can smell it jumping off the picture. I don't know, maybe that was my imagination. But anyway, so my thing is a process too. Like for me to really have my afro like really kinky, especially after I just wash it, because when I wash it, it's curly and wavy.
Right, and wavy,
and all of that. And even when I twist it up, my curls are more defined. So I gotta sleep on my afro. Pick it out, probably sleep on it again.
Yes.
and then it's ready.
Then it's ready. Yes.
Then it's ready to be rocking.
Yes.
So you heard that, ladies. That's the tips to get your Afro puffs nice and rough and steady. So let's go back to Fred Hampton, because I kind of wanted to talk about that since we was on that topic of the, full circle moments. How did you even get in touch with Fred Hampton Jr. and to be able to be a part or co-host with his show?
Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., chairman of the Black Panther Party Cubs. I was performing in Chicago, and he happened to come to the show, and he told me that he was working on a project. They were going to do a movie on the life of his father, and he wanted me to play
Judas and the Black Messiah. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
Not that one. This was before Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, let's go.
It was going to be, it was something that he was going to do. He was going to produce, and he wanted me to play his mother. Fast forward to Judas and the Black Messiah. That was a bigger production, and it got, a lot of accolades, and it got a lot of attention. But before that one, he was working on one, and he wanted me to play, like I said, his mother, Akua Njeri, formerly known as Deborah Johnson. And she, I got to talk to her and everything, and we just developed a relationship, and that's how it started.
Yes. Now, you already touched on it a little bit, but I kind of want to take this moment out to really give Fred Hampton Sr. his flowers, because like you said, a lot of people don't really talk about him. They talk about the safe ones. What is something significant about his legacy that you keep still to this day?
Just his passion. Like I said, his fearlessness. He was not fearful at all. He'll tell it to you straight like it is. And his drive, he led by example. It was just his whole persona. He was big in stature, and his personality was big, and everything was just, we're going to do this. And these are my people, and we're going to feed our own people. We're not going to sit around, and we're not going to wait around, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to start this free breakfast program. We're going to start this free medical center. We're going to have this taxiing like older people to get where they need to go. We're going to start all of these programs where we help ourselves, and we're not going to ask nobody about it. And the way he was attacked, the way the Black Panther Party was attacked, and still in the midst of all of that, okay, let's rebuild. Okay, what else y'all got? Okay. And he knew that his life was in danger. Like, they wanted him to go underground. They wanted him to, go in exile, I believe. He wasn't doing that. I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not no coward. We're not running anywhere. I'm sorry.
and that's just inspirational. They don't really make him like that. But his son is a chip off the block from his mother and his father.
Yes, and I got to go into one of those lives. I was trying to get him to come on the show too, because I love incredible minds like that. I mean, like you said, you did look me up, so I'm kind of a revolutionary too. Mm-hmm. Like, I be out here getting on everybody's nerves, and I like it though. Like, I'm not doing it behind no fake pages, which I noticed, that happens in social media. Like, you have a lot of influential people that got other pages that they don't show their true identities so they can be a particular way or enter a conversation a certain way without, worrying about being blackballed and stuff like that. So I'm kind of glad, you kind of noticed that about him. And I wish more celebrities still to this day do that. And you do that very well too, But back to full circle moments.
And he'll definitely be on your show now.
Yes, I would love it. I would love to talk Black revolutionary stuff, and we're going to get to more Black revolutionary things, because I definitely got to talk to you about your relationship with Pop, because it seemed very controversial, me doing your homework, my homework about you. But another full circle moment that you had in your life was the same year you released your debut album, was the same year Cleo started the infomercials of the tarot reading. So that's another thing you have in common. 1997. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Look at here now. Tell me more.
Oh, I think I got a few more. Hold on, I gotta check my notes. Oh, but anyway, so speaking of that, like we talk about you going to Dr. Dre in 1992, but you didn't release your album till 1997. What was going on in the Death Row camp that had you wait until you was able to put out your album?
Well, it wasn't up to me on when my album came out, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. They'll say, "Oh, Rage, she was slow." Yeah, I might take a while to write a rhyme, but it doesn't take forever. The same formula that they use for the Chronic and that they use for Doggy Style and Above the Rim was not used for me. Now, when it's time for the Chronic, we all were called and said, this is where we're going to be. This is what we're working on. When it was time for Doggy Style, we got the call, this is what we're working on. This is where we're going to be. Same thing, Above the Rim. Now, when it came to my album was supposed to come out after Snoop's. My album, nobody gave me a call saying, all right, Rage, we're working on your album. This is where we're going to be. I never got that call. I was sent to New York to work with Premier. Premier, at the time, had to do a rush job because he was about to go on tour. He wanted to do it later on when he came back and had time. I was sent to New York. I did, I think, 2 songs with Premier. Came back, and Above the Rim, Afro Puffs was out at this time. Even the way Afro Puffs was set up, it was not in the stores. When I was in New York, people were asking, where can I buy it? Where can I buy it? And I'm thinking it's in the stores. It was never in the stores until later. Now you got the song out later. Now the buzz is dying down. Nobody can buy it the way they wanted to when it first came out because I didn't like the song. And I really was throwing a fit, like, take that song off the soundtrack. I don't want it on there. Suge called me. Jimmy Iovine called me and was like, Rage, the song is a hit, calm down. So if you, looking back on it in hindsight, if you think a song is a hit back then, you're preparing for a hit. You got, okay, let's press up 10,000, 100,000 copies. This song is a hit. Let's get it in the store so when it drops, everybody can buy it. It was never prepped up like that for me. Then now you have the Dog Pound. The Dog Pound album comes out before mine. It wasn't supposed to be that way. So now, after the Dog Pound's album, Pac is released. Now with Pac, that's a no-brainer. I didn't mind. Okay, Pac is gonna go first. All the buzz is around him. I didn't mind that. And people try to say, oh, she was mad because Pac's album came out before hers. No, I was mad that the Dog Pound's album came out before mine because Pac wasn't even around when my album was supposed to be out, or the Dog Pound. So it was the Dog Pound that I was mad that came out before mine. And then when Pac's album came out, all the buzz is on him, and still I'm in there now. Dre is gone. Snoop is unhappy. Eventually Pac gets assassinated. Suge is locked up, and now they want to work on my album. I got to work on my album a little bit before, Dre was gone. Now I'm in there by myself trying to figure out how to do this when before I had direction. I'm not a producer. I'm just getting beats and I'm in there by myself trying to do this. So that's why my album didn't come out when it should have came out. That's why it took so long, because I was doing it by myself. I didn't have the conductor, which was Dre. Like I said, Snoop was unhappy. Suge is locked up. Pac is assassinated. The empire is crumbling. Now they send me to New York, and I'm working with Premier, and I'm still trying, and Kenny Parker and Easy Mo B, but I didn't have the person who called me to California. I didn't have Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre's whole vision was Eargasms. He had the whole visual, the whole setup. This is how we're going to do it. And that dream or vision didn't come true because he was no longer there. So that's what that was. I was never mad at Pac because his album came out before mine. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, his album's gonna come out before anybody's because he just was released from prison. He got a whole goddamn slew of rhymes. He go in there and work like a machine. Boom, 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 boom. He spin it out. His work ethic was he gonna be in there until he probably passed out. I'm done. I'm done 6 songs. All right, let's go. I'm going. I'll be here tomorrow though. So I don't write like that. He wrote like that, not me. So
yes,
that's what that was about.
Now we all know hindsight is 2020. You just finished saying, you was about to work on a project with Chubb Rock, but the only reason why you didn't do that because you got that phone call from Dre, only to be basically shelved for all those years and not get the production that you was really looking for. Do you have any regrets? Do you think things would have been different had you stayed in New York with Chubb Rock?
I don't have any regret, but I do think things would have been different. And Chubbs told me a couple years ago, he was like, yeah, Andre Harrell had called him and said he wanted to sign me. And I said, what? Andre Harrell? And he was like, yeah, he wanted to. He called him one night and was like, yo, that girl, I want to sign her. And he was like, yo, she's going to California. You're too late. But I think that I don't have any regrets at all. Only regrets I have is not having a lawyer when I signed my contract. But other than that, I believe I would have done everything the same way. I think it worked out the way it was supposed to work out. I was bitter at first in regards to the way I was handled and the way Jewel was handled. I feel like the females on death row didn't get the same treatment that the guys got. We were kind of put on the back burner. And I just feel that with the talent that she had and with the talent that I had, there's no way that we shouldn't have had a bigger career. But like I said, in hindsight, I look at it as, for me, it wasn't meant to be at that time. Diggy Daz.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was trying to set this up while you was talking, but I guess it didn't work out like that. All right, so going back to your album, Do These Internet Streets, and Daz is real vocal about, y'all was constantly bumping heads with each other. Before you get into your side of the story, I'm gonna show this clip of him talking about, how y'all was actually bumping heads in the studio. Okay, hold on.
I was told that Rage, that album, was difficult to get done.
Yeah, we was arguing a lot about ideas and stuff, and she was death row, but she was dog fair. She had a baby by the neck bone. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Probably ought to ask her that too.
Okay.
So he said we gotta ask you. So Acquiring Minds wants to know.
So I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you. So right there, when he said I was death row, now they had Bloods and they had Crips. I was neither, but I fell in love with a Blood. So once that happened, I was treated differently. And that hurt me because y'all know I can hang with y'all Bloods and I can hang with y'all Crips. I can hang, but I'm neither. Like when I took pictures and they say throw up the C, I would never do it. Or if I took pictures with Blood and they tell me to throw up the B, I would never do it because I'm neither one of those. People live and die by that. I'm not playing around with that. I'm not throwing up nothing like that just for a picture. No. And then I go somewhere and somebody remember the picture. I'm in a Crip neighborhood and now I'm through a Blood. Oh, she a Blood. Now I'm confronted about something that I thought was trivial. It's not trivial. People live and die that way. So because of my relationship with the person I fell in love with, they started treating me different. So that's why he said she was death row without saying she was a Blood. I was never a blood. I just fell in love with a blood and was in a relationship with the blood. And then he said, but she was also dog pound. Because I'm cool with everybody. Yes, I'm in the dog pound clique. Yes, I can hang with the blood. I can hang with anybody. So that's what that was.
Yes. And was there any other arguments outside of that situation that had to do with production? Because you do have people out here in these YouTube streets. Shout out to the dirty side of YouTube. Even though y'all going through some stuff right now, I appreciate y'all. But people felt like did miss the Dre sound off your album. A lot of the critics say that your lyrics are too hard to come at you any kind of way with production or beats, and people felt like Daz didn't live up to the standard Dre would have had he paid mine your album. So were there things musically that you had a hard time dealing with during the production?
Well, not Dre and Daz are two different producers, like Easy Mo B and Premier are two different producers. You can't compare them. They both had their own unique sound. So it was never an argument about production with me and Daz. It was just about who I was with. And I learned that somebody told me that if you date somebody, if I dated a Crip, I'm now considered a Crip. If you date a blood, you're now considered a blood. So that's what that little riff was. They felt that I'm now a blood and treated me differently. So it was no other arguments other than that. And it wasn't even an argument. It was just a treating me different. And it hurt me because I'm y'all sister. I've never, I'm from Virginia. I don't get down like that. So I was more hurt than anything. And yeah, that's basically it. I was more hurt. As far as my lyrics and Daz not living up, Daz did Daz, and he did it well. And all the other producers did what they do. Now, everybody may have been expecting some Dre-esque stuff, but Dre didn't produce anything. So therefore, you're not going to get what you're expecting because he wasn't a part of it.
Yes, and I think it would have really, I don't know, as a fan standpoint, I really think it would have changed the game as far as your album was concerned.
Of course.
Had it went the other way. Now, one of the songs that one of my favorites is Show Shot. And I really feel like you talk about like division, you just the same way you was talking about, you don't pick sides, East, West Coast, basically you didn't really say blood and Crip, but you was basically talking about towards the East Coast, West Coast situation. And it seems like that was a part of the beef between you and Pac. Like, you didn't want to get on a diss track, or, you didn't have the same belief system as he did when it came to who was going after him, and didn't really fall in line. Do you feel like the camp thought you was playing the 50, or what was your true beliefs when it came to that whole East Coast, West Coast, if you don't mind?
What's the 50?
Like playing the fence, like,
playing the fence. I thought you said the 50.
Well, I think that's what they call it, playing the 50. I don't know. That's what these new people be saying. But it's like playing the fence a little bit. Like, you cool with everybody, especially when both sides are warmer. Like, you didn't want to pick a side. You didn't want to participate in certain things.
Why should I? People lose their lives for getting in shit that don't involve them. People lose their lives for shit that's unnecessary. Trying to prove what? What are you trying to prove? To who? I am true to myself. To thine own self be true. And that's who I am. And I stand on that. Now, me and Pac didn't have beef like, I hate you. And we butted heads. We didn't agree. And we told each other that to each other's face. And that was the realest thing between us. How we communicated with each other. And even after all of that, he saw me in the hall one day. He was in a session, and he said, I asked him why, because when he came, I had to get out of the studio. It's like, all right, it's his turn now. When he came, I think he came early or something, or I wasn't expecting him. And I was like, why are you always coming in my session? Like, it's time for me to, when he show up or anybody show up, whoever got the studio booked at that time, it's time, all right, next person up. So I said, why you always coming in my session? And he was like, don't get mad at me, Rage. See them niggas in the front office. And besides, your album should have been done. And he didn't lie. Yeah, my album should have been done. But I went up to the front and I asked, like, why is he always in this studio right here? And they was like, come in here, calling me in. It was like, Rage, what it is nobody wants to tell Pac no. And I was like, So I went back there and I told him what they said. And he paused for a second. He was like, you know what, Rage? And next time, anytime I come and you're not finished, if you need more time, he said, I'll wait. It was another little area. He said, I'll be over here until you finish. If you need some help, I'll help you. And then after that, it was like the tension as far as him wanting me to him wanting me to take on his beef or diss anybody, that sort of thing, it kind of quelled. He saw me in the hallway. He was like, Rage. I said, what's up? He said, I heard you hit a cop. I said, yeah, he hit me. And he said, I know some niggas done wouldn't hit a cop. And I said, yeah. And then went on. Then he called me in the he was in his session. And he said, Rage, I want you to be on my album. I said, And he said, I ain't dissing nobody. I got East Coast niggas on there. And I said, all right, I'll think about it. And then I think that was the way that, okay, she's not going to change who she is. I'm not going to change who I am. You can only respect that. He's not going to have nobody's going to convince him to do anything that he doesn't want to do. He's going to do what he wants to do. I'm going to do what I want to do and what I believe in. And then that's when things started getting a little better. And then unfortunately, he was assassinated. So we didn't get to do the project. I believe it's One Nation, I think is what it was called.
Yes, and shout out to Buckshot Shorty.
Buckshot Shorty was the first name. Buckshot Shorty was the first name he called. He said, I got some East Coast niggas on there, and Buckshot Shorty was the first name he called.
Yeah, shout out to Duck Down, and rest in peace to Sean Price. You know, because he's a part of that family. He's having his memorial August 8th, this Thursday at SOB. So if you're in New York, please get some tickets. Shout out to his wife, Bernadette Price, and the whole Duck Down, Bucktown family.
Yeah.
Yes, gotta shout them out. Now, between you and Pac, that was like the battle of the air signs. You being Aquarius and Aries. Gemini.
No, not Aries.
Like when you got two intellectual people and strong emotionally too, because Aquarius is the water bearers. I'm a Gemini too, so me and Pac got that comment. Did y'all ever try to have like the battle of the wits, even outside of like topic of discussion? Like, fuck that, I ain't backing down. I'm not gonna let Pac get over me. Was it kind of like a ego thing of intelligence?
No, I don't think so. Because when he first got there, it was all playful and everything. And I remember him telling me, he's like, dang, Rage. He said, I don't like big girls, but it's something about you. And I was like, man, get out of here. Like, oh, go ahead on. And so he was very playful. And then he approached me because he heard that I was at the Source Awards, like when Little Kim came out. I stood up for Little Kim. And that was the time where Suge had said, come to death row. I can't remember verbatim, but anybody tired of the...
Oh, that's the infamous, if you tired of niggas all in your video. All on the record.
Yeah.
Come to death row.
Yes. So he heard that I stood up because that's Kim, and me and Kim are cool. I didn't get no memo that said, okay, we all gonna sit down and we not standing up and we not having a good time. I didn't get that. And like I said, I've never been afraid to be me. I'm just me. I don't think it was a lack of, and I hate that word. I ain't even gonna say it. Go ahead. I ain't even gonna say it.
All right, I'll let that go, but I also wanted to touch on the astrology. That's why I brought up the air sign aspect of it all and trying to refer it back to the movie Miss Cleo, the rise and fall of Miss Cleo. Do you really feel like she was into astrology, numerology, and an actual tarot reader?
I can only assume. I only know as much as the script provided. So based off the script, she was into tarot card reading. I did see something where she talked about other like forms of mysticism, whether it be the moon cycles and shamans and things of that nature. She did speak on that on one of the interviews that I saw, but I don't know how deep she was or wasn't into it.
Yeah, because it's like you have critics on both spectrums. Some people felt like she was a victim because she didn't really do any business as far as like organizing stuff. She was just the face. And then, the backlash of it all when, it turned out to be a scam or at least, the owners of Psychic Reading Network, it turned out to be done. Do you feel like she was misrepresented? Like she could have had better lawyers or something could have happened to save her image in the public eye?
Well, she did have a good lawyer because she was never convicted of anything. But what I feel is that she was thrown under the bus. So when you think of the Psychic Readers Network, you think of Miss Cleo, you think of con artists, you think of scammer. But the two guys that reaped in all the money, nobody ever mentions them. Nobody ever thinks of them. It's always Miss Cleo was a fraud. Miss Cleo did this. Miss Cleo took everybody's money. Miss Cleo. But what about the people that were behind her? Nobody, like I said, nobody looks in that direction. She was the one. She was the face of the company. She had a script like everybody else that worked there. She was just great at what she did. And the other people, they're doing the same thing. They're just not in a character. I mean, it could have been somebody, I'm Irish Jack from Ireland, and can tell your story, and blah, blah, blah. It could have been somebody from England. I'm from here, and I can tell your future. She was as good at what she did. But they all were doing something. They all were supposed to keep the people on the line as long as they could. And where did they get that from? The boss. So she can't be held completely responsible. Those two guys, the owners, they have to have some accountability as well.
Yeah, because, looking at that whole situation, she only got paid $1,700, they saying. And I guess, like, with each call, she got, like, 24 cents or something like that.
I've heard that.
Call. That's crazy to me. And for her to, it's like, she was the fall guy of the situation, which is sad. I just hope that as far as like the talent or her having the gift wasn't a lie, but I could see how that thing could be misconstrued because you got people wanting to do business with celebrity or influencers all the time. I got influencer friends that, be promoting people's products. Now just imagine 5-10 years from now, the company gets sued, but then so does the influencer because they did a skit like 2-3 years ago. So I kind of get that on both sides of it all. But when you saw Cleo the first time or was watching the commercials like on late night BT or something like that, how did you feel? And did you ever want to call in?
Who didn't? Of course I did.
Go ahead, tell your story.
No, it's no story to tell. I wanted to, but I didn't. I wanted to, I didn't. Simple as that.
Yes. Now I want to talk more about your acting career, but before we do that, because Steve Harvey was around at that time, and you played a character on the Steve Harvey show, and I see somebody in the comment section wanting you to share a story about Merlin Santana, and rest in peace to him. So can we talk about how did you even become part of the cast of the Steve Harvey show, and what was your experience like with Merlin Santana? Romeo, for those that don't know.
Well, I auditioned for the role of Coretta, and the first script that I got that I was auditioning on, I wanted Romeo to take me on a date, and I was reading with the casting director. I believe her name was Monica Swan, and we were reading, and she was playing Romeo, and Romeo was supposed to pick me up, and he said, "All right, I'll pick you up at whatever time." And she was walking by me, and I smacked her on the butt, and I said, "And don't be late." And she turned around, she was like, "Do that." Like, whatever that was, she was like, "Yes, do that." So right then, I'm like, "Do that? So does that mean I have the job?" Like, what? So by the time I got home, I had the job. And just so on auditions, what I tend to do now is I try to do something. I add a little something different outside of the script just to try to make it my own. So that's how I got the role. And Merlin, he was dope. He was always smooth. I didn't know that he rapped, and he would come in my trailer sometimes, in my room rather, and he would rap. We would rap and just go over some lyrics and stuff. And I remember the first time I had to kiss him, and he laughed because I was nervous. Like, what? I was looking at the director because he was like, "You have to really kiss."
I'm sorry, I'm jealous with this whole story, but yeah.
I was like, I said, "I really have to kiss him." And they were like, "Yeah, you really have to kiss him." And he's just laughing. He's just standing there laughing. And then I was like, "I can't kiss him. I'm in a relationship. Like, I can't just be kissing him. I got to call and make sure that's okay." So I called my dude. I was like, "Yo, they want me to kiss this guy." And he was like, "Well, do what you do." And I was like, "All right." Mwah. So.
Oh, I bet it was so soft too. You don't have to answer that because I don't know your situation, but I'm gonna answer it because that's crazy. I would have lost my whole entire shit if I had the opportunity to kiss Merlin Santana, and that's where he was at the height of his career with that six pack. He didn't make you weak, not even for like 5 seconds. I won't tell nobody.
I mean, he was a good kisser, but he was too little for me. I like big guys. So, but he was, you can't negate the fact that he was handsome. Sure, he's handsome, and he was a good kisser. So it was nice.
Yes, rest in peace to Merlin Santana. Yeah. I hope your memory always stays
rest in peace.
And you know what? I think a lot of guys like aggressive women because of watching your character. Because for some reason, looking at, you know, the evolution of men in the dating scene, it seems like, even though they always complain on these podcasts that they don't want an aggressive woman, but it seems like men be wanting to chase. I mean, men be wanting women to chase them and be assertive. You know, where do you think that comes? I kind of think it comes from like the whole Me Too movement, where, you know, men are scared to even approach women, you know, especially decent guys. They want women to give the signal and, you know, give the so-called okay. What do you feel about that today?
Now, males might feel a certain way. I think men still like the idea of them pursuing, them being the chaser. And even though I might be slightly aggressive at times, I know how to turn it down. I know how to let the man be the man and lead and do all of those things. I'm not going to try to outdo him. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, okay, this is what we're doing. All right. If I have an opinion about something, I will state it, but it's not going to be a thing where I'm just overboard, and I'm not one of those who, I don't need a man for nothing, and I'm not that. That's not me. I like a man to lead. I like a man to be a man. I like to follow the lead of the man. And we can also do things together. I can suggest and I can lead as well, but I'm gonna let the man is the head in my eyes. I don't know, you know, like you said, women today and men today, and I'm gonna say males today and females today, because men and women, and you could say it's schematics, but you got men and you got males. You got women and you got females. And I'm down with the women that feel a certain way about a man.
Yes, that was so beautifully said. Shout out! I might slap you in your ass though every now and again, but don't judge me. Don't judge me to all the men out there.
But see, I did that because she was a gangster girl, so she was a bully. So it's like I'm supposed to be extra tough and extra hard. So that's the only reason I did that. I wouldn't dare do that in real life. Like, yeah, nah, heck no.
I would. No, I'm saying, you'd be like, I would probably. Nah, but all jokes aside. So after your debut album, it wasn't long before you was on the silver screen again with Next Friday. So can you tell us how did that whole thing happen? Especially since Ice Cube is kind of the rival to Dr. Dre in that whole situation, and it seems like y'all had a great relationship. So can you tell us something about that, and how did that all happen for you to be in Next Friday?
Luck. It was originally for Queen Latifah, from what I understand, and then Latifah was not able to do it, and then I believe it was supposedly offered to Missy Elliott, and she wasn't able to do it, and I was there. And they just gave it to me. I didn't have to audition or anything. They just gave it to me. Yep.
You know what? I think it was meant for you because you had another full circle moment. You had a lot of those full circle synchronicities, because the reason why I say that, the infamous role of Baby D, Mike Epps talks about, yeah, Little Debbie's got a new cupcake and it got glitter. But when you did the Langston Hughes poem, didn't they throw oatmeal cream pies at you?
That was when I went to Job Corps. After I graduated
when you went to
high
Job
school,
Corps, sorry.
Yeah, that's when that was. But yeah, I was in the right place at the right time for that role. Next Friday.
That didn't pop up in your mind? Like that didn't revert you back to that memory in Job Corps where they was throwing oatmeal cookies at you, and then now you in a big ass Friday movie and niggas is talking about, yeah, Little Debbie's got a new snack with glitter and the Twinkie and all that.
Nah, I didn't go back there at all. It didn't cross my mind. Not one time. But now that you say it, it's like, wow. You in these full circle moments, you know more about it than I do. It's like, dang, you're aware of it. I ain't even paying no attention to that.
The role, how was it to play that role, and what was it like with all the classic legendary castmates? You had not only Mike Epps, but you also had Pops, you also had Tiny, and rest in peace to him, Sticky Fingers, like all that things. And what was your favorite scene out of all of that? Oh, and Pinky, we can't forget Clifton Powell. Shout out to him. I got to meet him years ago at Mo Bay Uptown when I was a bartender at Mo Bay Uptown. That was like years ago when Rave came out. But anyway, shout out to him because he be everywhere in all the fucking movies. But anyway, what was that process like?
So when I work with names that have been in the industry for a while, it's always surreal to me. Like, wow, you're amongst some greats here. You're amongst some people that have been doing this, whether it's in the rap game or if it's in the acting game. You are here amongst them. And it's just another notch on my belt of accomplishments is how I look at it. And I then become proud of myself for persevering.
Yeah, I was sorry, y'all. I was trying to get the picture. I wanted to show a clip from Friday. Oh, there we go, right here. Hold on. Yeah, so you was trying to So going back to the question that I asked, because we all know, that it was an actual thing between, Ice Cube and Dr. Dre. And even though Death Row was going through their things, you never really saw like the camaraderie or the makeup until like years later, So what was that like? Did that seem kind of weird, where you being the first lady of rap of Death Row and now you're working with Ice Cube a year or two after your debut album?
I wasn't even on Death Row at that time, so it didn't matter. So are you not supposed to, if you are a part of something, are you not supposed to do certain things? So if I want to be an actress and you got beef with somebody, but I have the opportunity to do something over here, what do you do in that situation?
I'm a work, especially you. I think for me, it would be different. Like if you did like choose a side, or you did go along with certain things, but you never did it. You was always true to yourself. And one thing that I do like and respect about you was like, and I stand on that. Yeah, you stern, firm, and 10 on that. So I don't think, you had to do what you had to do for you. At the same time, I really felt like nobody was really prioritizing you the way you was prioritizing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So what people was asking of you, they couldn't even give you their damn selves. And that's just me on the outside looking in, just noticing how, things are documented on the way they went. I really feel like a lot of people in your career did you a misservice. And I felt like when you was working with Ice Cube, that was a very good look, because it was a part of a huge franchise. Who don't know Friday? You know what I'm saying? And we wanted to see more of you on the screen. And Baby D is a household name. Like if you a female bully, your nickname was Baby D at some point of your thuggery. So, shout out to all the female bullies of the world, because if it wasn't for that character, they wouldn't even have no clout. But that's just me.
Well, yeah, that's how I look at it. I didn't know. I think after that, before that, I believe Dre and Cube were working. They did Natural Born Killers. Natural Born Killers came out before this. So they were doing their thing, but it had nothing to do with me. That's their lives. They had a beef. I didn't have a beef with Cube. I didn't have a beef with Dre. I didn't. So it didn't affect me at all. Like, come on, man. I don't know. I'm just different.
Yes. And I appreciate your differences. Now, you was talking about, not being on Death Row anymore, but you later on went to Interscope. Is that correct?
Incorrect. I went nowhere. I couldn't go anywhere. Okay. I was bound by contract, so I had to wait my contract out. So people that wanted to work with me were afraid to work with me because I was still attached to Death Row. So it wasn't really nothing I could do.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's written out there. It's saying that you started out at Death Row, then you went to Interscope, and then now you are part of Boss Lady Doggy Style. How true is that?
Yeah, Interscope. I never went to Interscope. Shantae, yes, she did in 2004. She started her management company, and I was one of her clients. So her and I, we worked together for, I believe, 4 years. And she was very instrumental. She put out my mixtape. She helped me out a great deal. And she, I think she got into other ventures after that. So after that, it was just, okay, I'm gonna go another route.
Now, one of the things I do want to touch on too is the 50 years of hip hop, where they gave love to the FemCs of hip hop. And I really feel like you very much deserve to be up there with everybody. Is there a FemC that you felt like should have been more celebrated during this time?
Sure. Sparky D, MC Shyrock, Pebbly Pooh, Antoinette, Nikki D, Heather B, Bahamadia, Boss, Sugar T, Sweet T. Let me see. Can I think of some more? Well, that's just to name a few. I'm sure if I close my eyes, I can think of some more. You throw yours out there. Maybe I can piggyback off of who you think.
Trouble. I really feel like a lot of people don't mention her. Like she's in no conversations, and I really hate that for her. And
did you say MC Trouble?
Yes, MC Trouble.
MC Trouble, and you said what about her? She's not mentioned.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that people don't mention her. Like, I would love to see like a documentary about her or something.
Because MC Trouble was like one of the first, if not the first female off the West Coast that was really like on a major label, really doing her thing. Rest in peace.
Yes. And if you got any stories or anything that she inspired you with, this is a great time to like, because I love doing that, like how we did with Merlin Santana. Let's show our people their flowers. And shout out to Boss too, may she rest in peace.
Right.
And I really feel like people need to give Rod Digger more her flowers too. She's one of my favorites as well.
Definitely. Definitely. Rod Digger she's in the upper echelon of female MCs. She definitely goes hard. She's one of them ones. You better come right if you're on a track with Rod Digger, or you gonna be put to shame for real. So.
Yeah, she got bars for days, like and a lot of people really, because I've been on Clubhouse and I've been to rooms where we debate hip hop for sport, and I always mention her name, in conversations and stuff like that. And I be really going like really ready to pipe people's heads off, like fuck you, man. Sorry for the cursing, but come on, like I really feel like it be the wrong people having these discussions that really don't respect the culture the way it needs to be respected, especially when people be having like podcasts and stuff like that. They just saying any old thing. Now, granted, your opinion is your opinion, but I feel like more people just be talking out their ass as opposed to like an educated opinion, something that's actually could stand on fact or something, and then you give me your thoughts on it. But how do you feel about that?
I feel you're right. Some people just do stuff as a copycat. They say this person that, it's these 5 people in every podcast. Like every top person is the ones with the majority or popular vote. But if you really dig down and do your research, you might have to rethink that. Like, oh, wow. And compare this one that you didn't even consider to this one that you got up here. And see if you ought to rearrange your list. There should be some rearranging going on. But yeah, that's just, I think people are afraid to be themselves and just followers, and will say the same thing. It's a lot of parroting going on. You just saying what you heard somebody else say.
That's a fact, instead of doing the actual homework. And I really agree with it. That's why I be so open to debate all these suckers, because come on. But anyway, it'd be like, come on with it. All right, so I wanted to take
Mia X is another one.
Yes, Mia X. Anybody else?
It's a lot. Well, she just popped into my head. It's Latifah, Moni. I mean, those at Yo-Yo. It's just so many. It's so many, and I'm drawing a blank. But even Foxy, she's not mentioned a lot.
Yes. And I feel like people don't mention her because of ego. Like, you know, a lot of people want to talk about her ego and her attitude and stuff like that. But that still doesn't take away from
It
the
doesn't negate her
conversation of
skills.
who got bars,
Right.
who was able to bring it.
That's
like,
right.
you know, who had a good run in a career. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? No, it doesn't
Kim.
matter who was popularized.
Babs Bunny is another. Lady Luck.
Now, before you go there, because I was just about to bring it, that was my next point. You, Lady Luck, Babs Bunny, as well as a few other female artists, has started the FemC movement. I kind of want to get into the clip of a quick clip of an interview that you guys did talking about what that was a little back in the day. Hold on 1 second. Here we go.
And I see y'all on DVD, a couple of videos they now and then, just what y'all been up to.
All right, man. Well, you know, we've been in the studio grinding hard on this film project, set it off, laying out hot shit. Me, Babs, Luck, Rod Digger, others soon to come in. But right now, that's basically what we've been doing, laying the pavement, laying the blueprint for this big movement that we're doing.
So who exactly is it then?
Rod Digger, you know, yeah.
A mill too. So what was that whole movement? How did you ladies link up and to come up with an idea of starting the movement? And what was the mission statement y'all was trying to address during that time?
I think it was Unique approached me, and I think Unique was managing Babs, and I wasn't really trying to rap. I wasn't trying to do anything as far as being on the mic or doing music, and she really kind of convinced me to be a part of this. And I said, all right, I'll do it. And it was females earning money, and Babs and Luck and myself were like the core. I believe Rod Digger was a part of the core. I'm not sure, but I know Rod Digger, Emil, and I believe it was somebody else. It was going to be others that were brought in. And that was the premise for the females to get together and just do some hot stuff.
So what happened? Like, did y'all work on a few tracks together? Like what
yeah, we did. It came out. It was called, I think it was called Set It Off.
Yes. Yeah, you were saying that. Yeah. Which is another full circle moment, because Set It Off got Cleo, and now you playing Miss Cleo.
Wow. Here you go. Wow.
Would you get a tarot reading? Like, do you believe in tarot readings? Like, would you get? I mean, I know you wanted to call Miss Cleo before, like it urged your curiosity, but do you overall believe in tarot readings and astrology yourself? And would you get a reading?
I believe I had a reading a long time ago. This guy that was working with Death Row, I think his name was Ricky, and he used to do them, and he was explaining them to me and things like that. So he would come in and I would watch him and stuff like that. And he did one on me one time. But for the most part, no, I'm not into that world. I remember ordering some cards off of Amazon because I wanted to get familiar with working with the cards for this Miss Cleo project. So I was trying to be proactive and just get some before we started filming so I could be already ahead of the game. So when the cards arrived, it was just something not feeling right. And so I left them on the porch. I never bought them in the house. I left them on the porch. When I came to Georgia to start filming, every time I went to mess with those cards, it was something that just didn't feel right. So I left them. The day that on set that we started dealing with the cards, they were like, this is the day you're gonna do the cards. So I go around the corner to the cubicle where the cards are set up, and right away there's a feeling that comes over me. It was weird. It was not right. I didn't like it. And the cards are all set there. The first card I see is death. I said, take that out of here. Like, get that out of here. And then there was some figurines on the side, and it was just a dark, I don't know if it was dark, it was just like a heavy feeling on me. And I was like, this ain't cool. I started getting anxiety. I started even talking about it. It's kind of making me go back to that time. Like, it just was not cool. So, but I got through it. And the next, that night, I didn't sleep well because I was anticipating the next day I got to go through this feeling all over again. So I went to the producer to see if we could get all of these tarot card readings out of the way, because I don't want to deal with these cards. And she kind of explained to me that maybe it's just my subconscious feeling away, because tarot card reading has a negative connotation with it. People feel a way about it and things like that. And yeah, they may, but I dealt with them. When Ricky was reading them, I didn't feel that heaviness on me. For some reason, that particular day, it was a heaviness and I didn't like it. So I had the guy take, and so that kind of made me feel at ease a little bit, but I still felt the way. So I had him take out all the cards that I didn't like, take these figurines away, and that way I don't have to turn over anything. And then I prayed about it, and I just prayed and I asked God to protect. I don't know if that was some type of, I don't know what it was, but I just asked God to protect me and the cast from whatever it could have been. And I felt like God presented this opportunity for me. So if God presented it to me and for me, then he's going to carry me through it. So I just prayed and asked for covering, and I got through it.
Yes. Now, during shooting those scenes, was there ever a scene or a moment or even a line that had you really empathize and connect with Miss Cleo in a different way?
Yeah. She was having an issue with her mother, and me and my mother didn't have the best relationship. So it was a scene where I tell my mother I needed her and she wasn't there. And it's an emotional scene. So I kind of connected in that sense, like been there, done that. So I don't want to tell you too much because y'all might not watch the story.
No, yeah, keep it a mystery. Everybody, August 10th, all time. Y'all better go see it. Now, I want to ask you a few more questions and we can wrap it up because, you know, and I want to thank you for coming to Live at Radio. Like, you know, you don't have no idea how much this means to me. And even though you say you don't like the tarot or want to touch it, but had we been in the same room, I would have tried to get you to sign my deck for me because
I would have done that.
Oh, you would have done that?
Yeah, I would have done
I might
that.
still hold you to it. I might still hold you to it. Don't let me
right?
bump into you on a nice day. Because I might get that signature.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, dang, I almost forgot what I was going to say. Oh, health is wealth. And you looking better than ever. You know what I'm saying, these days. But we did have a scare, a health scare with you not too long ago. So can you tell us what happened? And, you know, the only reason why I feel comfortable even asking you because I know Yo-Yo shared the story and you shared it too on your platform, you know, and you can only share what you're comfortable with, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people was wondering what was going on with you. So, and maybe this can help somebody else that might be going through the same thing. So if you don't mind, can you tell us at least a little bit what was happening with you?
Well, at first, no one knew what was happening with me. I thought I had pneumonia, and I went to the doctor a couple of times, and I went to the hospital first, and the first you have pneumonia. And then I went again, they said, well, you have acute bronchitis. It was different every time I went, but my breathing was becoming labored. And then I started losing weight, not even trying to, I was just losing weight. I went to my primary care doctor and she said I was depressed or something like that. And then she told me I have fibromyalgia. So they start pulling all of this stuff out. But my breathing is all respiratory for me. And it's becoming more and more labored. I go to the hospital to see my pulmonologist for the first time, and I had to park kind of like far away from the building. By the time I got to the hospital door, because the pulmonologist office was in the hospital, but by the time I got there, I was I was breathing like that, and so they were like, "Are you okay?" And I just shook my head like, "No," and I kind of fell, and they got a wheelchair and got me in the wheelchair, and they said, um, whatever chemical or some type of something they can test in you to see if you're having a heart attack, they said mine was elevated. Like I'm about to have a heart attack or I'm having a heart attack. So they keep me in the hospital for 2 weeks. While in there, I end up passing out. This is the first time I pass out. I was going to get some water. First, I was fussing at one of the nurses, and as I'm fussing, I'm going to the hallway to get some water. And then the next thing I know, I'm on the ground. They're talking about, "Ma'am, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm on the ground, like, "What happened?" And they're like, "You passed out." Nobody knows why I passed out. They did a biopsy on my lung, and then the doctor the next day said I had pneumonia, but it wasn't presenting like pneumonia. So they released me after 2 weeks. Then I'm home for maybe a couple days, and I go back to the hospital for another 2 weeks. They said I had sarcoidosis. They're just pulling stuff out the air. No one knows what's going on. So every time they release me, it's not better, and I'm losing more and more weight, and I'm passing out. I was at a show at the Forum, and I was talking to Lunel. I think it was R. Kelly might have been performing. No, was it R. Kelly? It wasn't R. Kelly. It was somebody else. And I'm talking to Lunel, and as she's talking to me, I could feel myself about to pass out. And she said, "Do you need to sit down?" We said at the same time, I'm saying I need to sit down. And she said, "Do you need to sit down?" And it's like I fall onto the couch, and they said something about my blood pressure was low, and I go to the hospital there. And then I get booked for Essence Fest. I'm in line to check into the hotel at Essence Fest. As I'm standing in line, by the time I get to the desk, I can feel like a full panic attack coming on. And I'm like, can I get some water?" And they were like, "Hold on." And then the next thing I know, the lady's telling me, "Don't touch my face." And that picture you have there, the one you showed previously, I passed out at the hotel lobby, at the Essence Fest. I fall into some type of metal type frame on the desk, and I have stitches in my face. And Nikki D and Latifah and Yo-Yo and Light and Mia X, everybody comes there to make sure I'm all right, but still they don't know what's going on. And this went on for quite some time. So finally they came up with pulmonary fibrosis, which is a constant scarring of the lungs that progressively gets worse. When I moved back to Virginia, I had to see another pulmonologist, and this pulmonologist was talking about transplant, double lung transplant. And that was a bit too much for me. I couldn't handle that. And I just prayed and I gave it to God. Like I would hear people say, "Give it to God and leave it there." I didn't know how to do that. I can't just give it away and leave it. I'm going to worry about it. What's going on with me? But when they said double lung transplant, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not getting on the table and have them open me up and take both of my lungs. That's major surgery. I'm going to be on medication for the rest of my life. My body is going to always attack these foreign objects, which are supposed to make me better. But in actuality, my body is going to fight this. And I'm going to have to take medicine to bring my immune system down. So now I could possibly even get sick. So I came up with the conclusion, hey, if this is how I'm supposed to go, that's how I'm going to go. I'm not going to gamble laying on that table and have them do that. And my kids, they were sad about it. Like, "No, Ma, if you need surgery, have the surgery." I stopped taking medication. I stopped doing a whole lot of stuff. And I just started praying and just changing my belief system. And things started getting better, progressively getting better. My breathing improved. I couldn't talk like this. People didn't want to talk to me because I'm talking like that, and they couldn't comprehend that. I've been strong all my life. My daughter couldn't even come in the room with me because she was so broken down from me being this way. Like, she was like, "You're the strongest person I know." And to see me like that was just devastating to them. So my belief and my faith is that God is healing me, and God has a purpose for me. It's something that I should be doing, or that he's going to use me for. And he took me through that, I feel, as a lesson. I needed to learn something from that. And that is depend on him for all my things. Give it to him and leave it there. So I still have issues every now and then. I almost passed out last year going to the Tom Joyner cruise. Fantastic voyage. I did pass out, as a matter of fact, but I didn't hit the floor. And I felt so embarrassed because
No, I said, thank God you didn't hit the floor.
Thank God. But I felt it coming. And I told the lady, I asked her, I said, "Do you have a chair?" I said, "I'm about to pass out." And she went away. And I said, "No, really, I'm about to pass out." So I just kind of hung over the countertop. And I just remember people fanning me. And I said, "Did I pass out?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I said, "Did I hit the floor?" And they were like, "No." And I guess maybe they saw me falling or going limp, and somebody came and held me up. But I was in the artist registry department where all the artists were registering. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Sugar Hill Gang is over there." And people, they're going to see me pass out. But I didn't pass out. And I just feel like I have been blessed to come this far. It's people that I wouldn't wish this on. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. And that might sound cliche, but I wouldn't wish this on anybody. I wouldn't. That was very scary for me. Sometimes when I think about it, it gives me anxiety. So it was just a time in my life that I hope I never have to go through again. And but here I am now. I'm talking.
Yes, and you talking to Cha-Cha.
Yes.
But one of the things, outside of me being silly, which I'm dead ass, but being silly, one of the things that I really love that you said was you had to change your mindset. Like, people don't realize every change starts with the mind, and a lot of people be wanting change without changing their thought process first. So just to add on a little bit, is there any more holistic things? Because you say you can't, your body's rejecting the medicine or whatever. So did you go more organic or holistic with some of the daily lifestyle changes that you do now?
No, I said if I had to do a transplant, my body would reject the lungs. So you would have to take medicine to suppress your immune system, because your immune system is going to attack these foreign objects in your body. So I did not want to go that route. I stopped taking prednisone and things like that because I had been taking it for a while. And then I read that prolonged use of that can cause damage to other organs in your body. So I just started, I looked into stem cell therapy. I didn't do anything with it. But I researched it because that would have been my next move. I did a lot of teas, elderberry, dandelion root, licorice root, things like that, garlic, ginger, chamomile, just different herbs like that help the respiratory system. Holy basil, something else I can't think of, but I drank a lot of the teas. I tried to just go as close to being holistic as I could, drinking the teas and anything that could help as far as respiratory.
Yes, shout out to everybody with the teas and all of that. And just to give you guys a shout out, put your business in the comments section. I would love to shout you out because you play a part in people's journey to recovery and healing, and I'm just glad that you made it out of that, Lady of Rage. I'm really really blessed to see you here because I mean honestly you don't know how much this means to me. Like you just me having this conversation and shit, anyway, let me stop before I get emotional. How was it being a mom? Because I'm a mom of 4 boys, you know what I'm saying? And even still to this day, I be wanting to knock one of their heads off. So how was it, being a mom and having these major roles like that and doing these big things? How was you able to balance it all?
Shoot, I just, hey, grandma, can you watch the kids? Or hey, dad, can you watch the kids? And I got to go do this. So I had a support system that when I had to go and be on the road or anything like that, I had a support system that would watch them while I was gone. Or Miss Aurora. Miss Aurora helped me out a great deal. And but now they're all grown. When they became teenagers, I kind of 17, 18, I could trust them that, okay, y'all can handle this and I'll be back. Just hold it down and don't do anything you're not supposed to. But, teenagers, they probably going to do some things they're not supposed to. I'm not there to see what's going on. I can just trust that they just hold it down to the best of their ability and don't do nothing outlandish, nothing that's going to get you locked up or, something that you'll regret for the rest of your life. So that's how it worked for me.
Only thing I miss as a mom is none of my kids really broke anything. Like I really feel like my kids really didn't live. I feel like kids don't live until they break something, and kids don't be breaking shit no more. Like no ankles, no arms, no nothing. Oh,
mine did.
Oh, okay. Oh,
they broke all my stuff. My stuff that I mean things that I've had forever, and maybe not break but destroyed. Like if I had a pair of shoes that I had for 8 years, and I let you wear these pair of shoes, now they're dirty and muddy. And do you know how old these shoes are? Do you know how long I kept them? And now you have come and just wore them one time, and then they look like you got them out of a dump, or a picture that I may have had, and you done went through my photo albums and left it out in the rain or something. And now this picture that was a fond memory of mine is destroyed. I can't get that back.
Breaking things like that material. Oh yeah. Like for a long time as a mom, I was real minimalistic because even TVs will get destroyed. They throw in remotes or probably get into a fight or whatever. So I get that. Like I couldn't have nothing, but go ahead.
And that's basically it. Things that meant something to me was getting demolished. So I had a rhyme that that I had from a long time ago. And I think somebody left a washcloth, like I had it on the table, or somebody was washing dishes and might have thrown the dishcloth on top of my book, which soaked through. And now my words are all smeared. So now it's like, oh my gosh, really? So people don't place value on your stuff the way you do. That's
especially those damn kids. Trust me, I know that all too well. Like everything gets destroyed. Like I was scared to redo my house and redo things because it's like as soon as I put it in, it goes right back out, but in the trash. And that breaks your heart, especially like if you paid expensive amount of money for something, because and then here comes one of these children. It's like dun dun dun. It's like please don't touch. Like, and it's like it made them want to touch it even more for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, moving on. We're about to end this interview, but before I go, I kind of want to ask you. 50 years of hip hop, you celebrated, and we gave kudos to much of the FemCs. Where would you like to see hip hop during the next 50 years?
I mean, it's here to stay. Its roots are embedded. Its tentacles have long reach. I mean, hip hop has touched probably every continent except Antarctica. And who knows, it could be some explorer out there and
yeah, I was about to say there's an explorer out there playing back that ass
right.
up. Don't
That's
worry.
right.
But go ahead.
That's right. So, you know, it's probably will reach space. Somebody will probably take it up there if they haven't, or the depths. So it's nowhere that hip hop can't reach, and I just see it progressively transitioning into something else, something else, something else, something else. It's taken many shapes and forms. Many people use it for many things: business, promotion, whatever, expression, and it's just a form of music that it keeps transforming, and it could be better. It could be worse. You know, it has its what is it? I won't say deformities, but you know, you had hip hop start out one way and now it's mutating into something else, and that mutation can turn into something else. So it's continuously going to change. It could come back to one thing like the 90s. I think what's going on now, you have full circle, as you say, coming back to that era. And once it leaves that era, it might go to something else or create something else. So who's to say what hip hop could be in the next 50 years? Only time will tell. Who knows? Only time will tell.
Yes. And is there anything you would like to say to any female up and coming artist that's trying to get through the game through the wisdom of your trial and error and circumstances?
Not really, because I feel like today, what worked for me back then or whatever got me through back then, it's a total different era now. Hold on. It's a total different era now. You have people who have social media platforms and they don't, they're doing it their way. They're doing it the way they want to do it. It's not something where anybody needs advice anymore or wants your advice. They want to do it their way and they're going to do it their way. So I don't really have any advice as to what to do, but I will say if you're passionate about whatever it is, just continue to be passionate and let your drive be your force. Just go get it and pass the torch so somebody else can get it.
Yes. And with everything you learned about Miss Cleo, playing her on screen and everything like that, if she was to Michael Jackson Thriller her ass over to you and you had the opportunity to say something to her, what would that be?
What I go on, Miss Cleo? What it do? Did you like my performance? Did I do you well? And I will say this: I did have a dream while I was taping on set. I did have a dream. She did come to me in a dream. She didn't say anything. She just smiled. So I took that as approval, and that was. I didn't even know how to react to that. Like, wow, I just dreamed about Miss Cleo and she smiled at me. So, and I did want to meet her children and try to get some tips from them and get their approval, or, they could tell me something about her. So hopefully they'll see it and hopefully they'll approve as well.
Yes, I know I approved. I didn't see it yet, but I've been watching the trailer 1,000,001 times, and I'm gonna play the trailer again before we log out. But yeah, and any final words about anything?
Nothing.
Well, thank you, Rich. Was that thorough?
Man, you said, were you thorough or what's up, Sorrow?
Yeah, was that thorough?
Because you were definitely thorough.
Thank you. And I want to say to you, you have no, I mean, I've been saying it throughout this whole interview, but I just need to say it again. Thank you so much. Shout out to Jamie. I keep calling her Jamie McCoy and Hillionaire Productions. I want to shout y'all out. you know, watching both you women is very inspirational. Even though you were always in my head since I was a little girl, you was one of the first times I ever really saw myself, from the aesthetics, the Afro puffs, everything. And, you know, representation is everything. And it's you and Hurricane G. Shout out to Hurricane G, because she's another one that I wish a lot of people will talk about more often. I feel like, you know, people don't give her due diligence either, you know, and because, you know, I have a Puerto Rican background too. So with her, especially being a Black Puerto Rican, you know, you don't really see that put to the forefront. So it was you ladies, you know what I'm saying? You ladies, you know, that I really saw myself. Because at one point in time, I was a baby D. Well, people at least thought I was, because I was aggressive Spanish Harlem chick because of my circumstances, just being a product of my environment. And not only that, not afraid to be the revolutionary that I am, to be controversial, to be outside of the box. So thank you so much, because this means so much. I will never forget this in my whole entire life. And I just want to give you your flowers, because I feel like more people should, you know. I wish I had like a whole thing. We need to see each other in real life, so I can't do that for real. But
where do you live?
You are very inspirational to me, you know, my thought process and everything like that. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And where do you live?
Oh, but I'm in Albania, Spanish Harlem. Everybody stand up out this bed. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so we outside. Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. I get, you know, crazy when I talk about my hood, because I love it here. And it made me who I was. You know, a lot of people complain and stuff like that, but, you know, I try to be different and give back to my community and be the change that I do want to see, because too many of us complain about shit and not be the change. And I don't want to leave my people behind. No people left behind. I know that could be harder said than done, you know, because of situations and things like that. But like Baby D, I'm built for tough, goddamn it. And I'm ready for all the smoke. So that's my thing. But anyway, you don't have any final words?
Man, how many words you want me to say? I don't
know. I just don't want to let you go. But go ahead. I'm looking for every excuse. But go ahead. You could go. I thank you so much.
I thank you for the opportunity to express some things, and thank you for having me on your platform. And hopefully, I didn't know. I heard you reading comments. I didn't know if you were going to share comments, like if somebody had a question for me, anything like that. But I just appreciate the platform, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it was like a few, I was pulling them up. They were saying shout out. Everybody was just basically giving you shout outs. You know, the main question was about Merlin Santana, you know, and that's pretty much it. But everybody's just basically shouting you out. Oh, got her NFT. You got an NFT?
I think Snoop, is it a song? Was it a song?
It's saying got her NFT on. I guess it got to be a song. Shout out to Lady of Rage, got her NFT.
Okay, yeah, something that Snoop did.
Yeah, so the NFT thing. But yeah, everybody's just giving you your loves, and I'm so proud of you, your growth, your evolution, you know, and I know it wasn't easy for you. I could, you know, real recognize real, and that's it. That's all I got to say, because we could be here all night when we giving you your flowers. So it's up to you. Clearly. I don't mind. But
clearly, but yeah, I gotta pack and do some. I'm on my way to Florida, so it's some stuff I have to do. But maybe we can do it again some other time. Once it comes out.
When next time you come to New York, I want the info. But yeah, salute to you, Lady of Rage, and I can't wait to see what else you got in store.
Thank you, and thank everybody that tuned in and was listening. And don't forget, Saturday, August 10th, 8 p.m. Lifetime, Miss Cleo, Horizon Fall. Y'all check it out.
Yeah. Oh, and before you go, can you just say call me now, just one time for the one time?
Call me now for your free reading.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, call I kind of want to give y'all a card. I kind of want to give y'all a card till y'all can get out of here with a good card. Look, we got the, ooh, if we can see it, hold up. We got the sun at the bottom. Let's see what's going to come out for y'all with Miss Cleo energy. What y'all got for the collective? I know we're not going to do no reading. I just want to do one card before we get out of here. Let's see. What's going to pop out for the, ooh, live at, ooh, the lovers, ladies and gentlemen. The lovers popped out. That means you need to either embrace more love or be open to love. Open up that heart chakra. Lovers also talks about making a choice. So there's something in your life that you might have to make a choice on, but whatever that choice is, choose with love. And this is what Miss Cleo deck. What else you got? Two of Staff, progression. Yeah, move away for stupid shit. Three of Cups, celebrate with people who love you, because new opportunities of love and abundance is coming your way. And with that being said, shout out to everybody who tuned into Live at Radio. May Miss Cleo continue to rest in peace. And I'm glad her legacy is being documented the right way. You know, we get to sift through all the lies and shit like that. And it's a real good look. But hold on, let me share her with y'all real fast. Hold up. There she go. You know, there she go. And I hope, you know, don't be afraid to do your dreams. And at the same time, read your contracts. You know, don't allow yourself to be the fall guy for any motherfucking thing. Like Lady of Rage says, stand on your motherfucking 10 at all times and don't budge for nothing. Don't compromise yourself for anything. And with that being said, peace, blessings, good love. Please like, share, and comment, and definitely subscribe. And until next time, folks, let's get it.
Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and share. But most importantly, subscribe and hit that notification bell. ChaChaLive.media. Let's get it.